How many more episodes do you have to go until things can come out in the open and you can live your life again?
Live my life again. So I'm living my life right now. Like, but
Without everything kind of being contained and being secret and you can't
so
share your
I
life.
think that there's a possibility of 1 to 3 more episodes, depending on how they cut it, and then there's the tell-all, and then if I don't get me and or them doesn't get a next season or next show, the NDA will not be extended, and then we'll have a chance to say anything I want. So, but the actual date is unknown. I sent an email like last week. I'm like, listen, when is my NDA over? And they're just like not getting back to me. And maybe like they'll wait it out. Maybe they'll just be like a year later, and they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you, and just wanted to keep me on ice longer. Because if they don't tell me I'm allowed to break it, I'm not going to break it, right? So
I
it could
mean,
be
it
like a
might be
trick.
a good sign because they want to throw you another season, but at the
Right.
same time, you're still living day to day, which kind of sucks.
Well, I know it's definitely not this week. It's definitely not next week, right? So I mean, like,
Don't NDAs typically have
no,
expirations?
that's what I mean.
Like,
I emailed about when the expiration date is, and they just haven't got back to me.
don't they legally have to tell you?
Yeah, but they don't have a legally obligated time to respond to an email.
So I don't know if you're allowed to say, but do they tell you, like, guys, don't look at the cameras, ignore them? Or is it
Well,
awkward? Like,
yeah.
is
Otherwise,
it.
I would just break the fourth wall. I'd be like, "Hi, guys, watching at home," like. But I'm really
I feel
good at
like
not
if
looking
you
at the
did that,
camera.
it'd be funny. If anybody else did it, then it'd be weird.
Like, be a Deadpool. Like, because I totally did a few
Yeah.
times. There was totally times they were like, "Damn it, Loren," and I'm like, "Yeah, guys." No, honestly, filming was like way too much fun. Like, I just had a blast. I made everybody laugh. I loved it so much, and I'm really sad that it's over. And that's like one of the main reasons why I want season two. Like, the money would help NDA, and then, like, I know that whoever I'm working with, it's just, we became like family, right? You spend like every single day together in the Philippines. You wake up together with them in your room getting dressed. You go with them everywhere. You eat with them, and then when you're finally ready to go to bed, you say goodnight to them. Like, they're so close to being like your actual best friends.
Hi, Lauren. Also living in the area, or were they all getting like? Were they?
Oh no,
Were they
they're from
both
all
telling
over
me?
the
Were they in
U.S.
their like their bougie hotels off
No,
the side?
there was like a lot of people in like, so when you see kind of my hotel door to like her door, that's like the same
Mm-hmm.
floor, but like half of that floor is rented out by all the stage crew. So like
That's great.
everybody, but like okay, so like a few people were in a different hotel like right down the street. I don't know if you're gonna see my other hotel room. There's one more hotel room coming up, but I don't remember if we filmed there or not.
Wait a minute, so hold up. So that means all of them are in the same floor, like next door to each other. You can hear each other's conversation, basically.
No, like if so, like they were so close to us. If they wanted to, they could put their ear against the wall and they could like hear what we're saying in our hotel rooms. Like that's kind of how it went down.
Do you guys still keep in touch, or that's not allowed?
So like I can't tell you how much we talk to each other, but like we haven't blocked each other, right? So we're not like enemies, you know, like
Oh no, I meant like you and the crew.
oh, me and the crew. Yeah, no, like the person who gets me in trouble, like calls me whenever I break my NDA, they I talk to her like all the time, and then like my main guy in the Philippines, I talk to him when he has time, but he's actually working on other things, right? Because they're still filming. Hi. I mean, I wish I could talk to them more.
Loren!
How you doing?
Literally, why are you the way you are? You're literally so disgusting.
Yay, we got
Oh.
one.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah,
Oh my
keep it
god, it
going.
started. It
Go,
started. I
go,
think too, because I
go.
watched the show and I'm literally like, why are you like this? Like, why are you such a disgusting
Mitchie,
human being?
I felt the same way before I listened to his live and things came to life.
Like
He
what?
told a
Like
lot
he
of
wants
things that
to,
were
like,
kept secret.
give
There, a
people
lot of
diseases?
things were
I
kept
don't
in the
get
hidden.
it. I don't
Lauren, do
get
you
it.
think maybe these people don't understand? Like they try to paint you like a villain.
Well,
He
no,
did.
that's my thing, right? I am like okay,
What do you
so
mean? He literally went on a podcast before he went on the show and was like, I'm literally gonna fucking go there with no money and fuck whoever I want. And if this little like trans lady or whatever doesn't like me, I'm just gonna fuck another one.
Right.
Of those little lady boys or whatever you call them.
So when I was on that podcast, I was really into my character, right? I was like, this is who I'm gonna be on the show. And then when I got there, I just couldn't hold it together. I'm like, uh-oh, I got myself in a hole here in this character setting, right? And it became like this whole battle.
She left. She just wanted to come up, rat you out, and then leave without.
But I mean, anyone can watch the Kiki podcast. You can watch it, and like it's okay. Like I did it on purpose. I didn't accidentally do that podcast. It was supposed to be my promotional material for like the next level version of me, and then like I got it wrong, like how I'm supposed to act. So that's why it was like kind of hidden for a while.
So by trying to promote yourself, are you trying to promote yourself more like the bad guy?
Right, because like okay, on the show there's normally like Adnan and Tiger Lily. Adnan's the bad guy. Brian and what's her face? Brian's the bad guy. Niles and Matilda. I don't know who the bad guy would be. Vanya and Bojo. Bojo's technically the bad guy, right? Via and Sunny. Via could technically be the bad guy because of her boyfriend coming along. But I don't see Sunny being the bad guy. Maybe the boyfriend's the bad guy. I don't know.
Who's your favorite couple?
I haven't really watched the show. But I like Niles. No, I watched like almost all the first episode. I mean, like Renee's the bad guy. I know that much.
Did you watch the show before you got on to the show?
No, my ex-wife hit me up and she's like, I hear you're talking to someone from the Philippines. And I'm like, yeah, how you doing? She's like, you should move to the Philippines and get a job in the Philippines. And I'm like, what? And then she's like, you just need to do it. And then you need to go on this TV show. And I'm like, okay. And then I did. And that's how this all started.
Very, very free-spirited.
Yeah.
Have any of the 90 Day Fiancé cast reached out to you in support or anything?
So
Kind of like...
Josh really likes me. We talk all the time. From the other way, he thinks he sees who I am besides through the show, I guess, somehow. And then Vanya and me have talked a little bit. And then me and Via talk. And what's his name? The buff bald guy, he might want to fight me. And then Kyle from the other way might want to fight me. So we'll see about that. But the show shut me down. I was like going to do all this promoting and make it like this huge fun thing. Like Loren gets punched in the face. And they're like, you can't really do that because we still own you under NDA. And I'm just like, gosh dang it. So now like a lot of like the actual like amateur MMA guys can't advertise their fights because of NDA. So they're like pulling out. But I had like 5 fights lined up and now I have like 0. I know.
Your life is so crazy. There's no way you're not going to have a spinoff or another season.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I drove my moped from Washington State to Las Vegas, and they cut that whole thing out. Like, that would have been so much fun.
That's crazy.
I thought about going back, but then I'm like, I have to get like a really good rig to live stream the whole thing. Because it was like 3 straight days, pretty much. Like 10 hours each day. And it was like exhausting and so cold.
How was the travel like when you were in the Philippines? How long were you there, like in total?
I was there for 27 days, and I think we filmed for like a full like 25 days, 24 days. So there was like one day we had alone together, which was magical, and then there was like kind of like these extra days, which got where like I was busy doing things, but it wasn't like film things. So like it was like, yeah, she was doing her thing for like a couple of the days because there's like separate. We filmed separately some of the time, but it was good. It was a 24-hour flight, right? 15 hours into the future, and then like travel. So we were flying to Manila or flying from Manila to Leyte, Tacloban, and then like we were in taxis a lot and tuk-tuks and what is that thing called? Jeepney.
Wait, did you actually have like the $50 or did they give you spending money too?
So,
it's like, there's no way.
So when I landed in the Philippines on day 1 out of the airport and reached my hotel room, I only had $46 left over from my drag show tips in my physical pocket at that exact moment.
But they like the TLC doesn't give you guys like spending money just to like progress the story. Like,
Well, I mean, like, okay, so you think that I only had physical dollars in my pocket for the entirety of the trip?
legit.
No, okay, so that makes no sense because like I have a debit card, right? I have like a bank account. I work at like a real job, so I mean, like, you don't think there was any money in my bank account?
No. Like, I do. No. I, legit. I thought that like you only had what was in your debit account
Right.
before you got the extra payment.
That is how they set it up. It was very amusing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
When I saw
maybe they give them spending money.
that little
and then
clip.
I feel like it was the editing because they definitely made it seem like that.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe they're like, okay, here's like some money, go this place, and then we're gonna film there, blah blah blah.
Right. Because if you watch the show, you can, if you do the math, I've spent more than $46.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like, if you do like any amount of math, you're like, wait a minute. He spent like $20 at the market, which means he had $20 for like 3 weeks. Like, there's no way. There's just no. How did I get a ticket for like what, $5? Like for two people?
Tickets from the U.S. to Philippines.
$1,200 on average.
Oh my god.
So
That's crazy.
that was like the big ticket item I had to buy. That really like cut into like my funds, right? That's like a big fund cutter.
They don't fund anything for you.
No, they do, but I'm pretty sure how much they do is NDA at this moment. But like,
I see.
they do help pay for certain things, right? Like,
Okay. I guess they have to, right? Because then.
well, there'd be no progression, right? If I ran out of cash and we just sat there and I'm like, well, we're done with the vacation. Sorry, guys. They would just have to quit filming. Like, no, they're gonna force things to happen.
Do they have you leave on a certain timeline too? Like, I don't know, let's say that you have, things going on, but like, no, we have to go right now.
Oh, I don't have things going on. That's not how that works. You wake up and you just kind of are like, what are we doing, guys? And they're just like, get the van, Loren. And I'm like, let's go.
Is your boss okay with you kind of just uplifting everything and just filming the show, and then you come back and everything's fine?
So on TJ Maxx, they made me take a leave of absence, which is how all my TV show money went to my ex-wife, was because of that leave of absence. And then my boss, Derek Daniels, who I live with now, he's like, well, the show's about me, so it's okay. And then the gift shop was calling me in the Philippines, being like, we need you to come in tomorrow. And I'm like, well, part of I'm in a different country, do you understand? Like, I can't just like go there. And they never paid me anyway, so it's like, you guys suck.
So I just got back. I had to do
Yeah.
some chores, but
I get it.
I heard you say you paid $1,000 for your airplane ticket.
1,200. Three
so
times.
they took you because you can get a round trip ticket to the Philippines for like $600.
Depending on if I were allowed to choose when I went, I could maybe have gotten that price.
If you couldn't have afforded the plane ticket, would TLC technically pay for it because they really want the show to air? And
They would just drop me.
No?
That was part of the
Really?
when I did the email, they said, "Do you have your passport?" Yes. "Do you have your ticket?" Yes. Okay, we'll move forward. So if you don't have that passport and that ticket, you do not get to sign that NDA.
Can you please tell us what a female penis is?
Okay. So
Yes,
you have,
please educate me.
when you're born with your sex, which is male or female, which is based on only your genitalia. As you get older, you develop as a person, and you develop your personality. Your personality is what develops into what you would consider your gender, which is your sexual orientation as an adult. And so a man, or a person whose sex was born male, becomes a woman and still has a penis. They are no longer a man because as their own specific gender role that they have chosen, it's no longer a male penis.
So when you said that you would have the procedure done, does that change it into a different one?
Had the what done?
If they were to have the procedure done,
Like the
Right.
bottom surgery.
I've been with girls that had the bottom surgery. It's fine. I really can't tell the difference.
and what about the hormones? Does that change the penis?
Technically, it can change like the way that it works. Like, you can be a lot more leaky on hormones. I know that much. And then sometimes you can't get it up at all on hormones. Just it depends on like how well you like are balanced in like how you take them. Like in the Philippines, they don't always go to a doctor to take hormones because they can just buy it on the streets, kind of. And so you can end up like totally jacking around your own hormones, and then you won't be able to like have an erection anymore. Stuff like that. So like, but in America, it's a lot more controlled.
Bottom.
Huh?
How would you be a bottom if it doesn't work?
Well, that means I'd be a top.
Oh, but you said on the show you were a bottom.
I know. It was a really good joke though, right? Everyone liked it? Yeah. It was good.
I was really confused.
Right. No, that's like the premise of the joke is it's confusing and funny in a car ride.
Oh, okay. Because I asked my pansexual son and I said, and he's like, I don't know.
Right. So because I physically can bottom, and I have on occasion, that made me a bottom.
Okay.
And I just said okay. Right? It's kind of like the theme. Yeah.
What would you describe your sexuality as?
I mean, I'm a straight
That's the
male,
same thing.
right? Because I like women, right? With or without pangus or with or without vagina. So like if
Trisexual, he'll try anything.
right.
Do you consider yourself bisexual or gay or straight?
No, so when you're gay, you like men, right? So like I am unattracted to masculinity or men. So like if the man were to become enough version of a woman, then it's kind of okay, but I still won't sleep with drag queens. Because it's just, it gets too weird.
What makes it weird?
I don't know, because I know that costume's going to come off and it's just not going to work for me. And that's when I have to bottom, because then I'm like, well, now I'm not going to be able to get it up because it's just, I'm not into this.
So you like boobs.
I mean, yeah. But I've been with someone who has fake boobs, and it's like, it didn't make a difference anyway, I just wasn't into it.
And yes, I did turn off the room light just to have more effect. Okay, I have a question that kind of doesn't have anything to do with the conversation we're having now.
Whatever, it's whatever you want.
Are you prepared with the fact that the more popular you get now, that maybe the more hate you're going to get? Because I'm kind of looking at the comments now compared to the last live you had.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily friendly.
No, but I mean, like, it just depends on who's watching and when. Like, it's going to be, like, waves of, like, hate and not hate. And, like, again, social media has, like, no actual power over me. I could not care less what people have to say. If anything, I just find it like this bizarre, entertaining AI chat group that, like, exists in the metaverse. And then I also have my real life, which doesn't apply at all to social media. Like, I'm well aware you all are real people, but it's all good.
Okay, so whenever you guys were doing the show, and you were very open, and you told the audience that you had the STD.
Oh yeah.
But did the crew already know about this? Like,
oh, absolutely. Why do you think we drove all the way to the middle of like some ridiculous dam to talk about it? Because in real life, wouldn't you just walk to the clinic? Like, you're like, oh, cool, that's what this is that I just noticed this morning, you know? And then
Did they know before you applied to the show?
I didn't have it then.
Oh, okay.
I had it for about 7 days. I got it on the 31st. I landed on the 5th, and then we filmed that episode like on the 6th. But I did travel 15 hours into the future on a 24-hour plane ride, so I don't know how that math works. So we're talking 7 to 5 days is how long I had the gonorrhea. And I may not have had the symptoms right away, I don't think, on the plane, but I did get them after I landed.
So, how was Faith confused on it being or not being an open relationship?
So, if you watch a Shabuti recording, I explain how that works and what that actually meant. But technically, I broke NDA to explain it because it all falls under NDA, right? That whole theme doesn't apply to reality.
So, do you still talk to her?
Like, she hasn't blocked
Can't really
me.
say.
Yeah, I know. That's the limit of what I can tell you. We haven't blocked each other on the internet.
There you go.
Yeah. So we're not such enemies that we can't.
You haven't filmed the tell-all yet, right?
So the tell-all's in like a couple episodes. So like it has to be filmed by now, right?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure how far in advance they filmed that.
Yeah. Technically, if you like search my stuff, there is evidence that I was there in New York. Yeah. It's like super vague because I had to delete a few things because I made it super obvious. And they're like, Loren! I'm just like...
I am genuinely curious how TLC has not sued you yet.
Because I haven't done anything that's damaged the... So, like, the things that I've said and done, is it going to prevent you from continuing to watch the show?
True.
That's what they have to prove. They have to prove that there was monetary loss from my actions. So, people do say they refuse to watch the show because I'm on it, but they don't say they refuse to watch the show because I made a comment on TikTok.
Plus, let's be honest, with TLC, the more messy it gets, the more people want to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but what I want to know is, were you really flirting with her friend?
You mean the drag queen? Or the...
Yes.
So, how is it they filmed every other aspect of that, but not me doing it?
That's what I want to know.
That's right.
Is it true?
Okay, so I was incredibly drunk. We were drinking Wang Wang. It's like $20 for unlimited drinks for the entire table. I'm pretty sure I had 8 to maybe 16 glasses of Wang Wang in like a 2 to 3 hour period of time. While I was standing outside, a group of probably like very young individuals exited the building. The female who was wearing a, what was it, Deftones t-shirt comes up to me, and her male friend, who was kind of gay looking, was like, hey, this girl's into you. Now, as I reach forward to do one of these, which was not supposed to originally make contact, I go off of the curb because she was standing below the curb. My hand now got incredibly close, and I kind of just was like, let's play this smooth and do like a hand caress thing and then say, I'm with the girl of my dreams. I'm going to get married. I love the... She's somewhere around here. While Angel and Don Don were standing directly next to me, completely, I guess, did not acknowledge the situation that was happening. And then I backed up back onto the curb, and she said some stuff, and we talked about music because I was talking about her T-shirt, which maybe that's why they had to cut out that whole scene because we just kept talking about Deftones, and that's under copyright. And then, like, I also think that they maybe get in the van, and they drove off, like, crazy fast so that I couldn't, like, jump out of a moving vehicle to like confront the person that apparently I was flirting with, because I would have done it. Like if we weren't already like so far gone to where I didn't think I could just walk back, because she waited a minute to talk to me about it. And I'm like, dang it. So like they set me up to not be able to defend myself from something that was completely misconstrued, but did literally happen. And then I don't meet the friends ever again to be like, hey, what happened? Why didn't you back me up?
It sounds like you set yourself up.
Right.
Well, I was told to physically stand where I was standing. Right.
I mean, it sounds like you've just been not faithful and honest.
Right.
But that was like 20 days ago where we talked. We talked about the Gondoranga, right? And then ever since then, everything was good. But that's a good setup, because if we didn't have that fight, I mean, there wouldn't be an arc. So we needed that fight to happen in order for the show to progress in a dramatic way.
But it's like, why do you keep doing my girl Faith dirty?
Right.
Thank you.
But where's the footage? Again.
I got a question.
Yeah.
We don't need footage. We can tell.
I mean, you could say that. Yeah.
So, like, I've watched the show. I don't really watch 90 Day Fiancé, but I've watched the show, and, like, I've seen you and a couple other people, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I'd say your part is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm joining watching your part, but the thing that really gets me is, like, I want to know, right?
Right.
I don't even know if you can explain this properly to me, right? But, like, how would I explain it? So you said that you're gynosexual, right?
That's the word that I learned that day. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you're gynosexual.
Uh-huh.
You're attracted to feminine penis and stuff like that, right?
No, it's attracted to females.
So, okay, so when I was watching the show, I'm just gonna be real with you. You see your friend there, the one that went dress shopping with you, so you can get the little stuff for Faith, you know?
Right, Esther, the librarian. Yeah, we've been friends for like 7 years.
So if you're into females, like,
Yeah.
why don't you just keep it at home and just date her? Because I think she was feeling you a lot. Like,
No. Yeah, no. I moved to Vegas and she was hoping we'd hook up like every single day. And I'm like, I'm not hooking up with you anymore. Like, we'd been there, done that.
is it because she doesn't have a penis?
No.
That's my question.
That's like, if you boil it down, that's what she accepts as the reason why. But it's an incredibly multi-layered reason as to why that's not a thing.
Because when I watch the show, it just comes across to me like the way you're portrayed. I don't
Right.
even know if this is like the right portrayal, but like the way you're portrayed is like, to me, it's like you're one of those dudes that, like, you know, you like the transsexual penis, and that's all that you go for. That's what was portrayed. But like when I was watching her, even her looking at you, I could see that like she was really feeling you. And then on the last date, when she literally drove you to the airport, right?
Right. We still hang
What
out.
she was wearing
Yeah.
was insane.
I know. She was like, no one told me it was see-through, and I was like amped up on pre-workout, so I didn't even pay attention to what she was wearing.
What does it mean to be on the bottom?
So if you both have pranguses, right? Someone's prangus has to go inside, right? So whoever is bottom is who's taking the primbus.
Okay, I have a question though.
So
Yeah.
If you're on the bottom, the penis inserts your butt.
You're the receiver.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
What happened with your previous marriage and you not wanting to pay child support?
So I've been paying child support for 11 years. I have reposted for the 4th time proof of payment, and I owe $0 left as of this month, but on the post I put, I still owe $12.25 for the entirety of all payments for the month. If you don't pay child support, it's against the law to leave the country. So the only way I was able to go to the Philippines is because I finally paid off the back child support from day one. When I first was divorced, which took almost 3 years, I owed $80,000, which took me about the length of 11 years to pay off.
And you never went to jail?
No, because I've always been paying. I've always been working. I've never not had a job.
Right, like, why are you not in your child's life?
Oh, my ex-wife excommunicated me. And then because of a live stream I did on Thanksgiving, she excommunicated my family.
So why did you break your NDA contract?
Well, if I fully broke my NDA contract, I'd be fired and I could say anything I want. But I still
Get
can't.
fired? Is there a really big ass fine too?
Right. Yes. I can't tell you how much, but I know how much. It's like I was told, because I posted how much I get fined, they were like, you can't post that. Because someone could pay me to break it.
Was it all planned?
What was all planned?
Your intentions with Faith.
Yeah, my intentions were go there, get married, bring her to America.
For your benefit?
Well, no, actually, the whole thing would not benefit me at all because I've been living as a hobosexual from relationship to relationship, just trying to have housing during child support, that if I were to marry her, that would mean I would have to provide for myself completely and her, which is like the most difficult thing I've done since I got divorced.
But regarding
Somebody
the
in the
video
comments.
where you're on the podcast.
Which
Saying
podcast?
that this is premeditated.
Right. So at that moment in time, I was fully involved in my character. But then the moment I stepped on the Philippines and met her, I was like, nope, I can't keep this character going. And then it got really hard doing everything on the show because I was no longer invested in being the person that I said I was then.
Do you know that you said that you wanted to marry NDA and then bring her to the States, but somebody in the comments did state that they thought that you wanted to actually move to the Philippines and live there with her. Can you
So
explain that?
that was all my ex-wife's plan to put me in jail to collect extra child support for 4 to 7 years.
No, I thought that is what you said on the show. That
Right.
you
on the show. So you don't necessarily get to choose what your story is.
Gotcha.
In theory. Like if you were to look it up on Google, it will tell you that. But I can't tell you exactly what it was, but in a roundabout way, I can explain to you without breaking NDA that Google could say that it's possible that my actions were not my own. Right.
I do have a question about arguments between couples.
Okay.
So when you guys had an argument and then you would fix things,
Right.
would TLC maybe draw them out and then make it seem far worse than it is just for viewings?
So if you're filming and you have dead silence, you're not filming anything anymore, right? So they have ways of coaxing you into continuing talking. If you're already arguing with someone and you keep talking, it's probably going to make it worse, right? Before it gets better. So if you're told to, hey, don't like sit still for like 2.5 hours in a car ride, it's going to get worse.
Would they kind of like implant things and like maybe say things to make the argument a little bit worse, or?
Oof. How do I say that without getting in trouble?
I don't want to.
I'm trying to think of like how I could like manipulate that sentence, but still give you an answer.
Some of the arguments on 90 Day Fiancé seem like they could be a quick conversation fix.
Right.
And then it ends up being a whole episode.
That's right. Over like something so ridiculous, and you're just like, well, why did we argue about that for like ever? Mm-hmm. Right.
So it does seem like that. It does seem like some of the stuff is planned.
Right. Well, it's totally possible.
So you got to pull the Bill Clinton on this one.
Right. If you were to set people up to go somewhere, do something, and then they suggestively have something happen, then you kind of can set up a fight or an argument, right? You have enough people in one room looking at your relationship and trying to like pick it apart to create a fight. It doesn't seem entirely impossible. I mean, we destabilize governments, right? So messing up someone's relationship doesn't seem very hard.
Okay, but question, why when Faith, actually got irritated and she actually got mad and she started, confronting you about, what you did, you started laughing in her face?
So if you were to have a conversation, let's say once, it's not as funny. But once you have a conversation like for the 8th or 9th time, or like the 10th time, and it's been like several hours and you're having the same conversation, eventually things start to get just ridiculous, right? Because in real life, you would never do that. You would never have the same conversation for hours. It gets to the point where you don't know what you're doing anymore. You don't even know why you're talking. You just know you're supposed to talk. Right?
Are the couples allowed?
So that validates you laughing in her face?
I mean, from the edited perspective, sure. But for all you know, she was also laughing. They just took out that edit and they brought it to a previous point in the argument.
Yeah, we have to realize there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours that we don't even see.
Right. You filmed like from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed is being filmed, and you see maybe an hour of it in like 2 or 3 days in one chunk.
Exactly.
I was curious. I know you do have to kind of sign an NDA once you start filming. And
Yeah.
I know, for instance, like I know it's Boyo, and I forget the girl that was with him. They didn't
Bojo
work
and
out,
Vanya?
so then-
Yeah.
Yes. So she does her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But are you guys, once you sign the NDA, are you allowed to break up? Or you kind
So-
of just have to fix all your problems and make it work for the season?
I think that's a very special case. I can't prove it because I never met Bojo. Bojo may have already told the production company that he wasn't going to be with her. Therefore, they already had planned out the rest of her trip before it had actually happened. I
Okay,
think that
question.
could have happened. Yeah.
Okay, so you did not get married.
I mean, I can't actually tell you that, but it's illegal for me to marry Faith in the Philippines due to laws. So it's a complicated answer.
Yeah, so same-sex marriage is not allowed in the Philippines.
Right.
It's a very Catholic, Christian country, so they wouldn't allow it. So the only way that they would be able to work is if they went to a third-party country, or if they did a fiancé visa, and
Or if you married
or they went there somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you actually have married Faith's mother, though?
So that whole plan was if I can get Faith's mom to America, I could become her caretaker / fake husband, and then she could apply to have her children come live with her. And then I can get the entire family to America and be Faith's mom's caretaker. So that way I'm doing 2 jobs in one.
And you came up with that plan?
That was one of many plans, and that's just the one that's stuck.
Loren,
Or is
do
that
you
your wife's
understand
plan?
that maybe that immigration's going to be watching that, and that's like a concern?
But remember, this is also a TV show. This is a TV show, and I'm allowed to come up with ridiculous ideas that would never actually happen.
I know, but how is like immigration supposed to differentiate between like?
But what makes you think that would ever actually happen? But but it would never actually happen. That would never actually happen. That's why it was okay for me to suggest it.
Okay, I get that.
Right.
I get that. You know, the best idea I think was you going to Thailand to do it, since they accept it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I've gone through the whole bringing someone over from the Philippines thing, and when you go through your immigration process, you actually go through a very extensive interview. Here, they go through a very extensive interview there, so you're not going to get anything past them, I should say.
Right. And so it was just an idea that became a TV show. Right?
Backing off that, I always wondered watching 90 Day Fiancé, knowing that the show is being broadcasted to the whole world, how on earth is immigration allowing these visas? Because they see most of these people breaking up anyway, so why would they allow it the following seasons?
Well, I mean, like...
Don't worry, they won't be allowed in the country here soon.
Well, no, I'm not trying to make it like anything like that. I'm not trying to make it like political or anything. I'm genuinely curious. They have to know about the show.
Right.
So
but they also know it's a TV show, right? They don't have an NDA. Like, once you're in there, you can break NDA and explain what actually happened and, like, the reality behind what's going on.
Why not be the real Loren? Is the real Loren?
Well, I mean, do you think when you sign an NDA, you're now owned by a company? Right? They own your image. They own who you are, what you represent. I'm no longer myself. Like, right now, I'm myself within reason. But, I mean, that's not really how it works, right? I mean, like, if you sign up to be Kramer on Seinfeld, you can't just be Jerry, right? There can't be 2 Jerrys.
Okay.
Or on Friends, right? You don't get to pick which one you are once you've already picked one. You are whoever it is you became, and you have to stick with that person, even though I fought it pretty hard at one point.
So have you just ran out of people in the United States today?
No. I just did. I've never wanted to be with someone from the United States, but because of child support, I was unable to leave the United States until just recently.
Knowing everything that you've gone through this season,
yeah,
I know that you're trying to push another season to happen.
That's right.
Would you willingly and want to go through another season knowing that more things could happen that you can't control?
So there's 2 outcomes to season 2, right? Either the person who I'm with, whether it's NDA or not, hopefully will understand my character a little more and be more accepting of the ridiculousness, and I can go forward and just make it 10 times what it was this time. Or we're going to have to stay down the path of whoever it is does not understand that I'm playing a character, and amping it up to really just have something entertaining to watch. And I have to dial it down and try and save the relationship at the same time while trying to please people who make TV shows. Because that's where the struggle was.
Without trying to sound mean,
yeah,
you're the weirdo of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's very entertaining.
I mean, right?
I didn't know anything about you until I saw your last live.